We're back for the second map of the series, Haven, coming up after HEET was able to take down KOVA's map pick over on Breeze. A very determined victory, Kremer. And I'm wondering whether this has kind of put caution into the wind, kind of given us a new sort of hint on how this next match may commence.
No, you're absolutely right. And for me, Haven is a map of map control. It's you have to pick an area and take it. And for HEET, this is their playstyle. So Haven is their map. And it's a map that historically they have boasted a very good win rate on. So for KOVA, if they want a chance to the series, they needed to at least make Breeze a bit closer than it was. The odds are now very much stacked against them, but they're not out yet. And so for KOVA, I would love to see some change, some adaptation, and maybe even some renewed vigor as they move into Haven.
Indeed. I've been hearing quite a lot of beeps there for some reason. I don't know if these were the alarms ringing or something. Anyway, there was some sort of beeping anyone going on. Yeah, it's whenever you speak, by the way. I don't know. That's a little bit weird. Either way, You're right. We're talking about HEET here, where they've been able to bring out some caveats, where they've been able to bring out Yoru, and it also breaks the question, what else have they been bringing out behind the scenes, right? We're talking about a new patch. We're talking about Fade being brought into the mix. And Haven is one of those maps where you kind of expect Fade to maybe at first reveal herself, right? If it's not Haven, maybe Split. So I'm wondering your thoughts around it. Do you reckon they've been playing behind the scenes with it? Do you reckon they're going to be amongst the first adopters of this region?
I would like for them to be. I can't help but think that for now, I think KOVA have seen enough on Breeze to be able to stop them. I think that they towards the end of Breeze particularly, they had a pretty good idea as to how HEET have been playing. That's their general idea to maps. And so I would love to see some changes made potentially as for ways to catch them out. We're seeing both Omens come out on Haven.
Hey, cool.
I know as much as you like Omen, Pavlos, I won't lie. Would rather see a different agent. I think Brimstone has a bit more impact than Omen does, particularly in this patch. But we'll have to see if Omen is still the way to go here. Something I want to highlight as well is seeing Remoy over on the Killjoy rather than a Chamber. So we may not be seeing as aggressive op plays from them. But that being said, let's be honest, King Union on the Raze is something to fear. I probably think that'll make up for the fact that Remoy isn't able to go as aggressive as he may have hoped to have done over on Breeze.
I love that you just leave me the hurdle to talk about Monstrum playing on Fade. Let's go!
Yeah, you can have fun with that.
I can have that one, guys. We've got Fade for the first time in Polaris, and it's on HEET's map pick Haven nonetheless. So, you know, that's what I fear about KOVA. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to reply in kind on this. It's a very snowbally kind of pick, you know, which is going to be an interesting one. Why is this Ascent? Oh, it's not Haven, it's Ascent. My bad. Well, I misled you, every single one of you, everybody. I misled every single one of you.
Makes a lot more sense.
And now everything makes a lot more sense. Well, Ascent still, the map will be seeing Fade on. Apologies for that. But yeah, HEET on the attack, KOVA on the defense.
Yeah, absolutely right. And now for the early Fade aggression as HEET look to power their way over to B.
Wow, Waddle, quick little peek onto Shed. We'll give them the early advantage. And, you know, not often you see the Pistols going on an adventure like that on those early corners, but HEET take that advantage and move elsewhere. To mid they go. KOVA still strongly dedicating their forces towards this left side of the map, and it may not be the fruitfulest of decisions, but as they do wrap away, they may have made the right call in this instance by moving towards short. Paranoia may come in, but they're transitioning towards mid. Very nicely read here from HEET, as they now can move into the B site. Now, they've given the space. Yesmond will have to rotate around to this B side. They realize the door has been closed, and they're double backing once again onto short. This is an entire game of rotations being played right now, and HEET has been playing it perfectly. KOVA on their feet to try and scramble their way back in, but it's an open frontier.
Summer had a very quiet game over on Breeze. This will be their shot of redemption, Pavlos, if they can bring KOVA back into this pistol round.
HEET unhurt And with KOVA being on the back foot here, they desperately need these kills. Diving in front of him. Ramoy and Kinguyen, though, still strong enough for it. Vicious desperately trying to find his way back in. Will be touching the spike to get them out of their corners. Knows where both of them are, but is that good enough? Oh, that is Eccles nearly jumping into the lion's den here. Vicious. Oh, he's going to be peeking it out, but it's only got 2 bullets. It needs to be 2 shots onto 2 heads. Switches out to a classic, but it's not in time. Eccles comes out of his corner and gets the kill. HEET with the pistol.
HEET find themselves 1-0 up, and what I really like is Fate has a little bit more tempo than a Sky does with that Prowler. Moves a little bit quicker than a Trailblazer, and what it means is that Prowler can just lead the execution. So you set out the Prowler, have your Duelist run behind it, and then have that trade any info that the Fate would have been able to gather. We saw that, which is why the rotations were so effective, and that initial Prowler was what allowed them to catch out Shed early on, who was trying to battle for that B main control. HEET, once again, stacking outside of 8 now, really play for some orb control, just trying to get those ults wherever possible, as it looks like Waddle will be the one to be given that ult orb.
Yeah, but at the same time, you saw KOVA sort of aggress towards B, therefore the rest of the team can kind of focus in this direction. Superma, though, will get spotted. Yeah, not the easiest, not of the easiest decisions to make, but in a difficult spot. You have to take desperate measures through the boxes. Ali's just being headshotted time and time again. But the minimal investment from HEET still to be working out. Shocked up. What a way to die. Electrocuted to death. Boom bot to the face of Yesmond. All of these KOVA players are being beaten to death by simple utility. And now HEET wrap around again. It seems to be the theme of the first 2 rounds of this game. And in rotation, Ramoy is there to catch them off.
I'm loving how fluid HEET are at the moment. They just get a kill, rotate, get a kill, rotate, get a kill, rotate. And now Vicious is sort of trapped in a really difficult position with no weapon, with no teammates, and at this moment, no HP either. Rainbow finishes the job. HEET go 2-0 up. And for KOVA now, as they stand looking to move into their first full investment, having only killed a single HEET player, means that the bonus is going to be fairly significant from this side.
Okay, then. Well, so far they've had 3 victories, haven't they, Kramer? We're talking about a different kind of fight now. This is one that could dictate the pace for KOVA, and being a map down, this can't be the best of situation for them to be in.
Now, the Odin comes out. I love the Odin's overplay on I love it in general on all maps. Pavlos, it makes me happy. Accuracy via quantity of fire, as Kinguyen looks to get a bit of extra control over in mid. KOVA being very, very passive for what is their shutdown on HEET's bonus here.
What I really love about HEET is that they've got so much utility to kind of scout out these areas. Not only you have shock darts, recon bolts, owl drones, you now have the Prowler, the Nightfall, the Seas, all of it just gathering the information that you need. They dance around it perfectly. There comes a Prowler. Now looking to gather space. Paranoia maybe to delay them, but still traded fairly simply for the HEET side. Shed, though, crucially enough, find his way onto the back line and is being a massive distraction. While that ordeal happens, they cross towards A. Odin scoped in, but only good for 1 and quickly traded back. Waddle now needs to deal with the player up above. But Superma, with elevation control, may be able to deal with him. No, instead has to fall. And now we've equalized. The scales are now even-sided. And now Ramoy is all to remain on his side, but no. Shed quicker to the trigger, more accurate with his shot, means that HEET will no longer have that spree. It's KOVA to find their way on the board.
I really like the util usage from Ramoy there. That drone swarm went down the second a push was anticipated from Divider there, and it meant that they could challenge Heaven without being contested. Really, really strong stuff. Allows them to take 2 versus 1, level it out to a 2 versus 2, and for the members of KOVA, yes, they win the aim duels to end it, but it came a lot closer than it maybe should have been there.
I'm glad KOVA were able to bring it back, though, which means things can start to be a little bit more competitive. Ultimates start to be appearing. Waddle 1 orb away from getting that all-elusive Hunter's Fury. Shed already has the blades. Half shields this particular round. Can't be the best of situations, being in the headshot range of the Phantom.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
But still HEET. Thankfully now HEET and not he. split across the map.
That's a proper guttural heat you're able to get out.
I mean, that's what you get when you write H-E-E, right? Isn't it?
That's the E's emphasis.
Yeah, you have to emphasize that E. It's stronger.
With a fairly forward position from Sutma, they're able to sort of sit back on B. They have what is sort of loose to mid control here, something that Eccles may look to challenge.
So baiting in the utility from KOVA, right? Shared, very close to that position, obviously under the dark cover. Will opt to move out of it. Paranoia waiting for Supma. Oh, Shed will be opting out of that fight, realizes as soon as the Siege comes into play, but the Paranoia comes in as well. Supma able to get out of there with 1 kill in the corner, but... Oh dear, King Guyon is there to take him out! And just like that, they find their way, the entry towards the A site, and they want to take it deeper. King Guyon on a venture here and wants to carry it on, fires ahead onto Shed, and now the rest of them may fall as quickly as that. That is all that remains. And my goodness, he's far out of his depth right now. Monstrum puts him down, and that is HEET seizing control.
I won't lie, Fade's utility is getting some serious impact right now. Monstrum having, only 2 kills in 4 rounds, it's nothing incredible. But when you look at the contribution the utility has made here, that, for me, is a serious sign that potentially Fade is an agent we're going to be seeing a lot more of, Pavlos. KOVA now. The ball's in their court. It's their turn to change something. And unfortunately on Pistols, I think the objective here is just get your ults up for round 6. You look over at Shed with the play still available, but with Jessamine, Suffer, and Vicious all 1 away from being able to bring out their own ults, this round is either a matter of getting it over and done with, get your ults for the next buy round, or on the flip side, find a rifle and save it. A bit of a... It wasn't even much of a fake actually thrown by HEET. KOVA just a bit preemptively rotates, and it has left them out of position. Luckily, HEET have slowed their acceleration over to peak for the time being.
Oh, blast packing over, and now has found his way onto the site. Oh, that is Vicious desperately trying to find some shots in, so low, but that's the Brawler just disabling all sorts of awareness. And it's going to be simple, Kremer. It's going to be as simple as it's ever been. Site fully under the control of HEET, and I'm afraid Ali will have a short-lived life as well. HEET on 4, KOVA on 1.
Really strong stuff from HEET now, and it looks like they haven't slowed at all with the conversion from our opening map. Instead, Breeze has just emboldened them to be even more aggressive. KOVA now with a full buy, with ults to wield. If this isn't enough to beat HEET, I don't know what will be. Over on HEET, they are actually able to match these ults, particularly the one I want to watch out for is that showstopper on King Guyon. I would love to see it used fairly early on just to get a player advantage, then work on exploiting that further onwards. With a huge stack outside of A, I think a fast play is exactly what to expect here.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more contacty than that. Interesting enough, though, mid isn't really being challenged from KOVA, apart from Ali's push from Garage. Showstopper coming through, Paranoia as well. The Haunt follows suit. Lockdown preempted, but taken out of the equation quickly. Hunter's Fury finding damage, though! Yesmond somehow gets through and disables the attack of HEET. Now crippled in their attempt to find the A site. They scramble their way in. At a 2-player disadvantage, half the amount of forces alive. Supma peeking through and making this even more difficult. Blast pack to give space for King Guyon. But space is all that he'll have. That is space for his grave to be dug. And that is KOVA doubling their scoreline.
Really strong round, and I love the reaction to the... I mean, honestly, the second they see that Nightfall come out, we instantly see the drop of the Killjoy ult, the lockdown, and it forces HEET to double down with the push behind the Nightfall. They are forced to commit to both the Hunter's Fury as well as their Showstopper. That is, of course, met by Jasmine's Hunter's Fury, which got considerably more impact than Waddle's. However, for HEET, I can't help but think that they were actually shoehorned into committing behind the Nightfall there, thanks to that early use of the lockdown from Vicious. Really nice bit of team play there. And for KOVA, not only do you win that round, but you also destroy the ult economy of HEET.
That's the simplest as they come, right? Ramoy just grabbing one. Operator. When do you see Killjoys on Operator as well? That is just Sentinel players realizing they can play that gun even when they're not playing Chamber. And that is HEET with a clear advantage. That is HEET exploiting KOVA's over-aggression. That is Eccles as well, with an interesting angle to work with. KOVA just locked outside of their sight, looking in as if it's a fishbowl. They may look in, but there's nothing they can do to get in. Nothing they can do to enter. Remoy, the gatekeeper, disallowing Sutmaz's pass and denying that entry will mean that Vicious will have to fall back.
Surprisingly, I thought Remoy being on the Killjoy would have meant he brings out the op a bit less, and instead we see potentially Kinkyu and potentially even Waddle use that op instead, allowing Remoy to lurk a little bit. In this case, no. No escape, no problem, just don't miss. And in Remoy's case, he doesn't. Fifth round for HEET now, as they sit 5-2 in the lead. Now, if they lose every round from here on out, this half would have been successful for them.
Oh, it would have been definitely closer in that way. Gelato, who wants some ice cream? I'm actually quite hot today. It's a very warm day, and apparently tomorrow is going to be 27 degrees.
Jesus.
And I'm in Amsterdam, man. This is supposed to be considered half Northern Europe, not quite northern. Yeah,
I'm not made for 27 degrees. Yeah, I've got a fair bit of padding on me, Pavlos. I'm good for Sub-Zero.
The thing is, I grew up with degrees with temperatures like that, but I at least had a decent looking beach to just go and dive into the sea in, you know, the Mediterranean Sea. Nothing like it, but of course here, it's not comparable. It's not comparable. Jumping into canal just doesn't do it for me.
Maybe you're jumping into the wrong canal.
Well, taking a look at the HEET right now. Just making that pun a little bit more obvious. Remoy just turns that temperature up a bit. Well-placed shot. And still delivering. Oh, Remoy is just loving the operator right now, and that buys room for Monstrum to move into, but KOVA are retaliating. They found two of their own and say enough to this nonsense. Ali has realized that Remoy is isolated, but he can't be too confident with that. Movement in mid, but Ali takes the fight, ends up dying. But this is Waddle looking to refine control over the spike. Vicious moving in just in time to catch Eccles drawing out from the shadows, but no. Denied. And it's KOVA to find their way back onto the board.
A really nice bit of timing there for KOVA, and it's about time luck went their way, isn't it? They have had a rough couple of halves now, and, well, this time HEET's not able to establish that lead that they were hoping to do, and what they were able to do over on Breeze. Shed brings out an op of their own. Subma does have to drop down to a Spectre, however, with the ult readily available for that Omen, potentially a lurking plate to come through. Over on HEET, that lockdown is available, which makes me think that with a huge stack outside of B, it could be a fairly fast play due for the members over on KOVA.
HEET have put all of their forces together onto the B site, considerably lower pace than what Breeze was, but let's have a look at this. Ali is actually pushing through his own fragment. Who would have expected that? No one. But they still are able to find the trade nonetheless. The B side is where they want to find their next approach from, but Shed still lines a shot through the smoke, gets one, and now with that lockdown has given them space to work with. Superman can't bring out his ultimate in time, therefore has to fall, and now we're looking at scales being completely at equilibrium. 3 against 3 in their attempt to enter. Walking in. Here comes a Fade ultimate as well. Yesmond locked onto the right side of things, but still trading equally. Shock Dart coming forth. Waddle alluding to the position. But this is also Remoy coming in from the side. And that will be crucial. That will be priceless as Remoy rips two heads apart and puts head on top once again.
I really like the communication there between Waddle and Remoy. Waddle, who's in the very far back of the site, he just comes. He says to Remoy, they're focusing me, I'm just going to make noise, just bait me. And you see from the shock darts, you see from the kind of shoulder peeks, Waddle doesn't commit to a fight. Instead, it's all about buying time for Remoy to come in and clean up. And I tell you what, Pavlos, that's exactly what Remoy does, sending KOVA to the ether as HEET sit 6-3 in the lead, confirming at least a draw in this half. But so looking at the buy of KOVA, looks like they're angling for something just a bit better.
looking to increase that advantage and take it even further is what they're looking for. Looking to get their first match win of this season. And what many think to be one of many. Regarded as one of the strongest, really, in the region right now. With the additive power of Eccles, with the coaching staff behind them. Fundamentals strengthened by the day. And with a new patch seem to be one of the most read up on so far. And willing to take risk. That's a recipe to success right there.
Yep. No, it absolutely is. Waddle looking to try and counteract the showstopper. That gets the play from King Yuyan. Unable to garner much control. However, they do have a pretty good gauge as to where Sutma is hiding.
Ooh, well, the Painters will do it. Vicious out into the open with a Guardian. Less than optimal weapon to deal with that endeavor. Up against 3. It's not going to be a simple one. Flash drive from Ali. Door has been shut. And so has been his chances. 4 bullets. Looks to run away, but unable to. Eccles quick on his heels. And Yasmin, I'm afraid, is not capable to find much more after that. Eccles feels a lot more comfortable this game. A triple for him this round, and HEET just increased that lead.
That they have, and once again, it's both. Usually it's Remel and King Yuan doing all the heavy lifting, but now Waddle, now Eccles are both sort of joining the frag count. He are looking unstoppable. Over on KOVA, they are one away from being able to bring out that Hunter's Fury to accompany the Blade Storm on Shed. Something I want to highlight is that I don't think Shed used that Blade Storm once over on Breeze. It was entirely down to gunplay for him, and it makes me think that maybe they're not quite comfortable. You've always got them adjusting and trying to refocus, and for KOVA, that means that confidence and the ability to push for player advantages is something that's really going to start starving them quite a bit.
Eccles from the shadows, allowing him to move freely onto the site. Double blast pack, enabling King Yuyan also to follow suit. Site control is there. Hunter's Fury, though, looking to delay that spike plant to allow his teammates to come in. King Yuyan, all damaged up. Shed is also there to find the final shots onto his body, meaning a kill has gone into the KOVA side without the spike going down, increasing that pressure onto them, suffocating them in, and looking to find their way out. They may be able to find themselves some kills. Vicious, though, is in command, and we've got ourselves a duel. Waddle is low, though. 1 bullet should do it. And Vicious has got his mark at the right place. KOVA not going out that easily.
For a moment, that looked like KOVA had completely fumbled the ball. It really did. But once HEET got their initial response sorted, KOVA, they then instantly strike back. It goes trade on trade on trade. And for KOVA, I mean, in that 1 versus 1, Vicious, there wasn't much he had to do, thanks to Waddle, unfortunately, being a walking corpse with only a handful of HP to spare. Enough blood to fill a biro, maybe, as HEET find themselves 7-4 in the lead.
Still a fairly good lead to have. And considering KOVA still lost a lot of their resources that previous round, it's not going to make things any easier. Of course, with the Hunter's Fury, they're taking down Ali. It's not going to enable them any further either. Looking to take further risks as gaps have been created throughout the map, and it seems that HEET have got the right read, right? They figure it out. Okay, B site seems to be open. No one's defending it. We might just walk in there and get the spike down.
Really, really strong adaptation from HEET there. Just sell the fake over on A, actually being able to kill Ali. Probably isn't something they were expecting to do, but hey, it means that fake's even more convincing.
On the shadows, blockading where every single one of the KOVA players we're going to approach from. Now, I mean, they will have an extra angle from Yasmin, but look at this. Ooh, Eccles, though, gets interrupted, and now the script idea for KOVA to recover this becomes more palatable, but it's going to be a big no for HEET!
Okay.
4 kills in quick succession just puts KOVA to their graves, and that is HEET in command of this half, 8-4.
KOVA, they had a plan there, they really did. That was a nice setup for a retake. And then the second, no plan survives contact with the enemy, right? In this case, no KOVA survives contact with HEET, as they just got wiped. HEET now move to their defense, and if this is if Breeze was but a snapshot as to what he can do on their defense, then I really am starting to worry for KOVA now. The alarm bells are starting to flare as KOVA set up outside of B, looking to potentially get to this site and challenge Remoy.
HEET have won 2 out of 3 pistols so far, which is making things a little bit alarming for KOVA. needing to win this down a map. Troubling scenario for them. The HEET's map pool seems to be very, very massive, very, very big. Here's Waddle, able with the tags to find a kill and walk back into safety. Shed damaged up, but unafraid. Oh, but not for good reasons though, because Waddle's got the read on him. Shock Dart at his feet would take him down. KOVA at a massive disadvantage. Paranoia preemptive in that corner, but now they start to move in. This is where the troops land. And they're looking to take the site piece by piece. The puzzles start to appear. Ooh. And HEET, all they have to do is put them together, form the picture, and that picture is this pistol round.
I like how they're giving the defuse to King Guyon as well, who's already able to pick up 2 kills in the pistol round now, and what it may allow is a King Guyon to get a very early showstopper, which could be used to just push him over the line, because by the time that showstopper's coming online, they're going to be battling for that match and series point. Over on KOVA, now, losing the pistol round is a kick to the teeth, however, they're still conscious, which means that they're able to bring out pistols, they're able to at least post something to try and stop HEET. However, they're at the stage now where Hail Marys are going to become a dependency.
Oh dear. When does it get too out of hand for KOVA? When is this game just way too far out of their reach? They're not going to give up. They're not a team to give up. Oh, but Superman's been tagged here, but the flash is near perfect. No reinforcements, though, will be the costly part of this. Now, at a disadvantage, HEET knowing where everybody is, all they have to do is allow them to walk into their crossfires while they throw shock darts at their feet. Electrocuted. Softened up completely. Eccles also comes in for an alternative angle, still gets shut down. Damage is found, but damage is not what KOVA were looking for there. HEET are there to stop them. Double digits found already.
KOVA moves their full by now, and if this fails Pavlos, they are in big, big trouble. And for HEET, this is where they say, not only to KOVA, they start saying to the rest of the teams in this league that they're here and they're here to play. Yes, they've had roster changes. Yes, they had to go through the qualifier, but that doesn't mean they're any less good. They're not even anywhere near as undervalued as potentially they would be by the teams that are existing in this league. As HEET now move into a very substantial bonus with only 2 sheriffs on Eccles and Reboy, they choose to go aggressive.
Very aggressive. Look at that. Monstrum, though, even with a sheriff can find damage. Eccles can do it as well! Well, they're just showing the world how it's done. Eccles through a smoke! This man's brain is massive! And Ali is now trembling. I think he's wet his pants a bit as well. Losing his teammates in a matter of a second. Such a scary prospect. But he needs to recover himself. Splash his face with some mortar. That's one. He's got a minute to work with. But he's just expended his last flash drive to clear out spawn. And it's been wasted. No one is there. Fragment desperately fired at trying to find some damage. Some corners to work around. They know where he's coming from though. He's revealed it all. They line up. He gets one. But it's not enough. HEET on 11, 2 round from closing out this match.
You're absolutely right, and HEET now are just looking... They're getting to the stage now where they're looking unstoppable. Unless something substantial changes, HEET should not be winning rounds like that, where there's bonuses, then there's fairly weak bonuses. With 2 sheriffs, that's one of the weaker bonuses we've seen, Pavlos, and HEET make it look like they all had vandals. For KOVA, their buy, I mean, I guess you can call it a buy. Spectres, Guardians, they're assisted by the Null command on Ale, but is that enough? Is that enough? As HEET one away from that showstopper and King Guyon to try and assert themselves to the match and series point.
Essentially, this is the final countdown for KOVA. Final buying attempt to get themselves back into this game to try and pull their way through. Vicious, oh dear, not the best way to start it, but still recovers it. King Guyon wary of it though. Maybe second time's the charm to get this man off the server, but no, still able to run away with it, and the site already under the hand and control of KOVA. Walking in, there comes a Brawler, and the rest look to full suit. Paranoia, impactful, King Guyon, Eccles finding it. Ali though, onto the back end, still alive, and still able to pull that weapon, but Monstrum is there and finds himself a double. And Vicious is too far away from this. Looking to haunt him, but Eccles is there with the direction of his crosshair properly placed on his opponent's head, and that is HEET putting themselves on map and series points.
This is now where KOVA, it feels like they're out of options. That last round, it's still a force by Pavlos. They still needed just something to go their way. And I mean, the fact their biggest boast of that round was they brought HEET down to 2 players is sort of a sign as to how badly the second half is going for them now. Yet to win a round, and at the precipice of being 2-0'd in this series. They are close to something else, sure, but will we even get to a stage where they can be used? The showstopper and relocation on Ekis and King Gyun is still available, and for KOVA now, they've got to try and find a way to shut down this HEET side as quick as humanly possible.
Oh, that was quick. Double paranoia followed up by showstopper. That is one way to get yourself back in, but Ali, all right. He's found entry towards the A side, and that's the killjoy. That means there's no longer utility to hold that back. That is a very important kill to get, and especially when Vicious moves out of the shadows like that. This is KOVA with a chance. HEET may have dropped the ball here, Kremer.
They very well may have. There's a flank coming from
Oh.
King Gyun.
Spike planted.
The dangerous one. Paint Chill's throwing at him. King Gyun demanding respect and control, but Vicious. Good headshot. Eccles, that's 1, 2 left.
Oh.
Ali onto the backside of things.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, and he has to
Pavlos.
fall. Eccles, he nearly's done this. If he sticks the defuse, though, he doesn't have to worry about the lockdown. Oh, but now he has to. Taken off of it. Oh, but he finds the kill! And he moves away from the lockdown as well. What a way to close out this series. Eccles, you monster.
Win.
13-4 on the second map. HEET have turned up that temperature, man.
Wow. And here's the thing for Eccles as well, is that round was... You shouldn't be winning that. You had players who were able to trade one another. They're flashing for each other to peak. And even on that final kill, he's taking a 1v1 on 12 HP against the Killjoy, who's already got a lockdown in place. That was an incredible round from Eccles. And what a way to close out a series. HEET, they look dominant.
The only team coming into this day without a win on the board has come away with a win on the board. Now 1-on-1 on the score, but honestly, man, what a performance. Talking about the first map, a monstrous one, right? Really able to come back from KOVA's early resurgence, but this game, KOVA never looked in control, never seemed to be the team to beat. It was all HEET to perform here. On defense, on attack, they were challenged not a single time.
You're absolutely right. They just looked immortal. And for KOVA, there wasn't much they could do. Was it? HEET were all over them start to finish. Even when KOVA are trying to just get out, when they're trying to disengage, it always comes at a cost. And for HEET, I mean, that is a hell of a series. And for Fighters that excel, good luck one-upping that.
The disabling capabilities of Fade, as well with the information that she can provide, is one also of the reasons where I think we saw HEET shine today. KOVA didn't really seem to have answers to that, and having a look at the scoreboard, it's evident that King Gyun once again did the heavy lifting, but that has not come in hand with the rest of his team underperforming. No, all of them had a piece of that pie, all of them above a 2 KDA, apart from Roy, but Waddle makes up for it by having a 3.1 KDA. But honestly, a very, very impressive game by them. KOVA really couldn't do anything about it. We say that time and time again. A mirror matchup apart from the duelist, and also having that all-important Fade coming in instead of that KO. Very, very cool stuff seen from HEET. And it just opens up our expectations for them this particular season.
Look, you're absolutely right, and I want to see more of HEET, frankly, Pavlos. I want to see HEET against a team that have specifically anti-stratted them, because HEET weren't really forced into a position where they had to adapt. Instead, it was them just playing their A game and making it look effortless. I want to see them properly tested, and that may be something to happen in these next couple of weeks. However, Pavlos, that's not our only game for today.
That isn't. No, we've got more games to come, but ladies and gentlemen, do stick around because I believe we will have an interview with one of our victors of this particular matchup. Obviously, we will be looking at Excel playing up against Team Finest later on. So if you are interested in that, I do recommend you also stick on the stream. But I really want to dive into this game a little bit more here, Peter, because I think this game showed a lot of elements that are worthy to talk about. A lot of storylines we touched upon earlier today, which have come to light, right? The depth of the team. We saw them wrapping around with information, their macro play, mid-round decision-making, but also preparedness to how KOVA were going to approach the map. A lot of elements that really allowed HEET to win out today.
You're absolutely right. And one of those elements I want to highlight is Fade. You briefly glanced on our ability pool really actually helping out with his play style. For me, it's the effectiveness when it comes to playing quickly. Fade is so good at leading the way with abilities. A lot of the time we sometimes see it with a Trailblazer going first, however a Trailblazer isn't as quick as that Prowler. And so for Fade, it's just a matter of deploying that utility, trying to get as close to your opponents as possible before they actually know you're coming. And then when you accompany it, of course, with that Nightfall, such a powerful ult. I believe it's 12 seconds of nearsightedness if you're hit by it. That is something you do not want to have to put up with. And so Fade really was able to have such an instrumental time in sculpting how KOVA were able to go about both their retakes and their afterplants.
Yeah, and I don't think we even saw the best of capabilities that Fade could bring out, right? I don't think we saw the Haunt being used too much. But even if you use it on one side and just deny the capabilities of your opponents to be able to hear anything and find those audio cues to react to your play, it's just so strong. And I'm glad we were able to see that. But I believe we have an interview right before us. Monstrum is readied up to be asked a few questions here. Monstrum, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the broadcast. Congratulations on your victory. It was quite a determined one. How do you feel after that?
We feel really good. Like, honestly, after the loss previously, like we made a lot of improvements, and obviously it shows. Like, it was a really confident game from us. I feel like it's going to get even better from here.
Incredible stuff. Your playstyle against KOVA, you didn't show them much respect. It was very much get into their face, constantly try and go for man advantages. Is that a strategy you have specifically for KOVA, or is that your general strategy for most of this league?
I think we mostly adapt it to how they play. So when we're playing the map, like if we feel like going for an aggressive pick is what's necessary, then we will do that. But I think it just depends. Like we just adapt.
And I think the adaptation was evident throughout the entirety of the matchup, especially over in Ascent, where the rotations were constant. And whenever you get some key piece of information, you're like, okay, maybe that's not the right decision. Let's go through mid instead. And then when you see that there's a blockade at the end of mid, you're like, okay, they've adapted to this, but will they adapt to us rushing back into short? So we saw a lot of that, and that was really cool to see. But you also touched upon that you put a lot of prep in, and since even from last week, you've improved a lot, right? You've only been together for about 3 weeks. How much impact does the extensive coaching staff you have and also the addition of Eccles to the team bring to the team in regards of being able to prepare, being able to elevate your gameplay as quickly as possible?
Oh, it's incredible. Like the coaches are amazing. They help us improve at a dramatic rate. It's unbelievable like, how much they've done for the team. I mean, Eccles, like, with his experience, he's been brilliant. Like he's taught us a lot, and like his IGLing is really good. A lot of those plays you see on mid where we're doing those fast rotations, that's like him making these really good calls and big reads. So yeah, they've been a great help.
And I'm going to quickly ask you about Fade. Of course, you guys are able to use Fade to a masterful degree over on that final map. Do you think that Fade is an agent we're going to start seeing almost all the time? Or do you think she's going to slip more like a Phoenix, which is something you would only ever see in very certain scenarios?
I think she can be really good, honestly. I mean, the stuff that we had on Fade for Ascent, like, we'd only been practicing it for a few days. So, like, I don't have the lineups, I don't have all the content. I reckon with all the content, like, across loads of maps as well, Fade is going to be brilliant. Like, really strong character, for sure.
Well, Monstrum, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Great stuff. Looking forward to what the rest what the rest of the season looks like for HEET, really. So, yeah, congrats, and thank you very much for joining us on this interview.
Okay, thank you.
That was great, man. The confidence that they feel, the rapidness of their improvement. It's just amazing to see how a team can improve so fast. And I think one of the issues a lot of the teams had the previous seasons was consistency, and the fact that they were able to find those small mistakes from the previous week and bring them to the stage today. That speaks volumes.
No, it absolutely does. And I don't think that HEET have hit their ceiling yet at all. I mean, you said already, they don't have the full content on Fade. I would have loved to see these guys at their peak. And at their peak, how good is it going to be? Something I'm really looking forward to develop over the course of the league. But for Pavlos, any closing thoughts on what was HEET versus KOVA?
Well, my closing thoughts there was a complete slaughter, and KOVA really need to bounce back quicker, and I hope they get a coach soon, because it's been a long time coming. But Excel and Team Finest is up next, so if you guys are interested in that, stick around, we'll be back soon.
Welcome back to the VALORANT Regional League Northern Europe Polaris. Some new faces have joined us, some new faces have left, and judging by your face, MP, your hair has left you.
No, you didn't go there.
It's just a haircut. Almost gonna spot another. It's gonna come through with a flash of spray. It's gonna come through, finds another. Embo, the only one left, and make that the ace secured in the bag. Life with the updraft coming through. He's not gonna spot out anyone. The knife gets taken out right away. Yo, someone check his computer. XL don't feel the comfort, but alive. We're gonna be heading into the second game of this evening. Hold on to that operator. Is gonna get through that teleporter. A bit more safety. Secured, but he's right after him. Okay.
I think that's spoken into getting those ult orbs and Malfoy.
Malfoy said, this is my mid now.
2 cars. Take this 2-0. And I'm so happy. Both of my predictions are right. Let's go finally.
Oh, here, let's go finally. I thought you were going to be like, I'm so happy. Who cars?
Shout out to my incredible girlfriend. She means the world to me.
What an incredible dude right there. That's amazing. 9 rounds would be good enough for this team.
Ooh, the dash. He's going to be able to happy feet and dance right out of it. He's going to be walking into the molly. Does find Ingredient, finds Eccles at Monstrum.
Once again.
Going for Eccles. They're just doing the exact same thing from last round. Pedal to the metal, flawless coming through. Do you happen to have any final mentions you would like to share?
Yeah, I hope to beat Human Advice 26-0.
Well, rivalry is already coming in.
A couple of shots land on Hattie, but that's all it's gonna be. He's gonna be able to throw it away, and that's such a big round coming through. Looking good.
Yeah,
but you have to remember that the rest of H2O is still what you want to be dealing with, and that's a trigger display coming through from Jasmine. That was quick. Yeah, the overdrive is going to be coming through. He's looking to get a pick, gets the first, is going to get the second. Going for the fourth, and that might be the ace. Supma says, nah, you want that ace? Not today, it's mine. So I want to say thank you so much to everyone who tuned in for this first week of Polaris, and we will be back next week.
I'm so tired of you always playing